Argument Alice, Framework Freddy, Comparison Connie, Structure Sam, Delivery Danny, Rebuttal Rosie are the Dialogy Debate Super Team. They are here to help develop your superpowers.
Hello everyone, Comparison Connie here, and today we will explore the second major element of an impact, risk. If magnitude refers to how big or serious your impact is, risk refers to how likely your impact is to happen. For example, if we continue our example of a bug bite versus a lion bite, which one do you think is more likely to affect people living in Shanghai? Hopefully, you answered bug bite. That's because there is a much lower risk that you will see a lion compared to a mosquito in the streets of Shanghai. Every time we debate the magnitude of an impact, we should also explore its risk. Let us look at some impacts to better understand their magnitude and risk. An obvious example of a high magnitude, low risk impact would be an alien invasion from outer space. It is reasonable to assume that aliens landing on Earth might result in war. But is this impact more important than reducing pollution? If we only care about the magnitude, then the answer is likely yes. That's because a war against aliens could mean the end of humanity. Thankfully, the risk of aliens invading Shanghai tomorrow is almost a 0% chance. Now, let's compare this to an impact like pollution. The risk of alien invasion is likely 0%, but the risk of pollution affecting people around the world is 100%. Pollution is a great example of an impact that is of low magnitude but high risk. If we ask a judge which impact is more important, it's likely the judge will vote to limit pollution over a need to prepare for an alien invasion. That's why debaters need to examine both the magnitude and risk of an impact during the debate. Let's apply this idea of risk to a more common example in debate. On the topic of banning mobile phones in school, a pro team could argue that mobile phones in school increase the risk of distraction, and a con team might argue that mobile phones are useful during emergency situations. Which impact is more important? Well, it depends. Let's take a look at which impact has a higher magnitude and which impact has a higher risk. Clearly, the con's impact of having a mobile phone during an emergency has a higher magnitude. That's because a mobile phone could save someone's life during an emergency. However, the risk of an emergency situation happening that requires a mobile phone is low, especially when compared to the risk that a student will become distracted by bringing a mobile phone to school. The con team would explain why the magnitude of an emergency situation outweighs the risk of distraction, and the pro team would attempt to explain why the risk of distraction outweighs the magnitude of an emergency situation. From this point, the debaters must explain and compare their impacts by evaluating both magnitude and risk. So, next time you are in a debate, remember to focus on the magnitude and risk of your impact. If your impact has a higher magnitude, explain why it matters more than your opponent's impact with a higher risk. If your impact has a lower magnitude, then explain why the risk of your impact makes it more important. Good luck!